Shabbat Shalom and hello everyone. Welcome to the reading of the week. Yeah, that works, right? Reading of the week. Maybe. Camera's over here now. I had to move it. I keep looking over there. Camera's over there. I'll remember that. Probably not. Most likely not. Alright, yeah. So we left off at Exodus 15. We had just gone through Exodus 14, where we completely annihilated the Mitzrayite army that was chasing down the Israelites, the Egyptians. This was the right at the end there when they finally escaped or left. This is when the seas parted, and yeah, you know what happened next, right? If not, go back to the last reading, because it'll tell you, or I'll read it to you, one of the two. I encourage everybody, break out your books. You can find this book at Bible.com as well. It's free to read there online if you want to check out the scriptures. Completely free at Bible.com. You got to go into the different translations or different versions, I think it's called, on there, and you can read it there. Now, I have been considering doing the green screen thing behind me and putting the actual book up on the screen as I'm reading it. Let me know what you think, because I'm kind of iffy on it. But yeah, anyway, we'll probably only get through a couple of chapters here today, just because I'm tired. And yeah, and I didn't make coffee before this, which is just a tragedy all on its own. But anyway, starting with Exodus 15. Then Moshe and the children of Israel sang this song to Yahweh, and spoke, saying, I sing to Yahweh, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. Yah is my strength and song. He has become my deliverance. He is my El, and I praise him. Elohim of my father, and I exalt him. Yahweh is a man of battle. Yahweh is his name. He has cast Pharaoh's chariots and his army into the sea, and his chosen officers are drowned in the sea of reeds. The depths covered them. They went down to the bottom like a stone. Your right hand, O Yahweh, has become great in power. Your right hand, O Yahweh, has crushed the enemy. And in greatness of your excellence, you pulled down those who rose up against you. You sent forth your wrath. It consumed them like stubble. And with the wind of your nostrils, the waters were heaped up. The flood stood like a wall. The depths became stiff in the heart of the sea. The enemy said, I pursue, I overtake, I divide the spoil. My being is satisfied on them now. I draw out my sword, my hand destroys them. You did blow with your wind, the sea covered them. They sank like lead in the mighty waters. Who is like you, O Yahweh, among the mighty ones? Who is like you, great in set apartness, awesome in praises, working wonders? You stretched out your right hand, the earth swallowed them. In your loving commitment you led the people whom you have redeemed. In your strength you guided them to your set-apart dwelling. Peoples heard, they trembled, anguish gripped the inhabitants of the Philistia. Then the chiefs of Edom were troubled, the mighty men of Moab trembled, trembling grips them. All the inhabitants of Canaan melted. Fear and dread fell on them by the greatness of your arm. They are as silent as a stone, until your people pass over, O Yahweh, until the people whom you have brought pass over. You bring them in and plant them in the mountain of your inheritance, in the place, O Yahweh, which you have made for your own dwelling, the set-apart place, O Yahweh, which your hands have prepared. Yahweh reigns forever and ever. For the horses of Pharaoh went with his chariots and his horsemen into the sea, and Yahweh brought back the waters of the sea upon them. And the children of Israel went on dry ground in the midst of the sea. And Miriam, the prophetess, the sister of Aaron, took the timbrel in her hand, and all the women went out after her with timbrels, with dances. And Miriam answered them, Sing to Yahweh, for he is highly exalted. The horse and its rider he has thrown into the sea. And Moshe brought Israel from the sea of reeds, and they went out into the wilderness of Shur. And they went 3 days in the wilderness and found no water. And they came to Marah. And they were unable to drink the waters of Marah, for they were bitter. So the name of it was called Marah. And the people grumbled against Moshe, saying, What are we to drink? Weren't they just singing songs about him a minute ago? Then he cried out to Yahweh, and Yahweh showed him a tree. And when he threw it into the waters were made sweet. There he made a law and a right ruling for them. And there he tried them. And he said, If you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, and do what is right in his eyes, and shall listen to his commands, and shall guard all his laws, I shall bring on you none of the diseases I brought on Mitzrayim. For I am Yahweh who heals you. And they came to Elam, where there were 12 fountains of water, and 70 palm trees, and they camped there by the waters. And that is the end of 15, where they were singing songs and praises to Yahweh, and then grumbling against Moshe because there wasn't no water to drink. How quickly people turn on each other, right? I'd like to read 26. Verse 26 one more time and just make a point here. And he said, If you diligently obey the voice of Yahweh your Elohim, and do what is right in his eyes, and shall listen to his commands, and shall guard all of his laws. They haven't even written the laws down. They haven't been given to Moshe yet. How do they know what laws to guard? Because they were passed down word of mouth until they were trapped in slavery in Egypt for 400 years. I shall bring on you none of the diseases I brought on the Mitzrayites, for I am Yahweh who heals you. There's so many stories of people being healed when they start following Torah. Healed in any conceivable way from absolutely anything. Moving on to 16. And they set out from Elam, and all the congregation of the children of Israel came to the wilderness of Sin, which is between Elam and Sinai. Sinai? Yeah. On the 15th day of the second new moon, after their going out of the land of Mitzrayim, and all the congregation of the children of Israel grumbled against Moshe and Aaron in the wilderness. Here we go again. And the children of Israel said to them, If only we had died by the hand of Yahweh in the land of Mitzrayim, when we sat by the pots of meat, and when we ate bread to satisfaction. For you have brought us into this wilderness to put all this assembly to death with hunger. I mean, do they not learn, these people? Who does this remind you of? But seriously, I mean, they just parted the waters. You were following a pillar of fire. You were following a pillar of smoke. It's obvious that the Father, the creator of the heavens and earth and all the universe, is, with you and guiding you. And the first sign of trouble, wah, 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 wah. These people. Verse 4. And Yahweh said to Moshe, See, I am raining bread from the heavens for you, and the people shall go out and gather a day's portion every day in order to try them, whether they walk in my Torah or not. My Torah, the law, the Torah. And it shall be on the 6th day that they shall prepare what they bring in, and it shall be twice as much as they gather daily. Why is that? Sabbath, anyone? And Moshe and Aaron said to all the children of Israel, At evening you shall know that Yahweh has brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim. And in the morning you shall see the esteem of Yahweh, for he hears your grumblings against Yahweh. And what are we, that you grumble against us? And Moshe said, In that Yahweh gives you meat to eat in the evening, and in the morning bread to satisfaction. For Yahweh hears your grumblings which you make against him. And what are we? Your grumblings are not against us, but against Yahweh. And Moshe said to Aaron, Say to all the congregation of the children of Israel, Come near before Yahweh, for he has heard your grumblings. And it came to be, as Aaron spoke to all the congregation of the children of Israel, that they looked toward the wilderness, and see, the esteem of Yahweh appeared in a cloud. And Yahweh spoke to Moshe, I have heard the grumblings of the children of Israel. Speak to them, saying, Between the evenings you are to eat meat, and in the morning you are to be satisfied with bread. And you shall not know that I am, and you shall know, not know, but know, you shall know that I am Yahweh, your Elohim. And it came to be that quails came up at the evening and covered the camp. In the morning the dew lay all around the camp. And the layer of dew went up, and see, on the surface of the wilderness was a small round substance, as fine as frost on the ground. And the children of Israel saw, and they said to each other, What is it? For they did not know what it was. And Moshe said to them, It is the bread which Yahweh has given you to eat. This is the word which Yahweh has commanded. Let every man gather it according to each one's need, an omer for each being, according to the number of beings. Let every man take for those who are in his tent. So take enough for your kids and your wife, or wives as it may have been in this particular day and age. And the children of Israel did so, and gathered some more, some less. And they measured it up by omers, or omers. And he who gathered much did not have too much, and he who gathered little did not have too little. Each one gathered according to his need. And Moshe said, Let no one leave any of it until morning. And they did not listen to Moshe. So some of them left part of it until morning, and it bred worms and stank. And Moshe was wroth with them. Dude was ticked. And they gathered it every morning, each one according to his need. And when the sun became hot, it melted. And it came to be on the 6th day that they gathered twice as much bread, 2 omers for each one. And all the rulers of the congregation came and told Moshe. And he said to them, This is what Yahweh has said. Tomorrow is a rest, a Sabbath, set apart to Yahweh. That which you bake, bake. That which you cook, cook. And lay up for yourselves all that is left over to keep until morning. And they laid up till morning, as Moshe commanded. And it did not stink, and no worms was in it. And Moshe said, Eat it today, for today is Sabbath to Yahweh. Today you do not find it in the field. Gather it 6 days, but on the 7th day, which is the Sabbath, there is none. And it came to be that some of the people went out on the 7th day to gather, but they found none. And Yahweh said to Moshe, How long shall you refuse to guard my commands and my Torah? Anyway. See, because Yahweh has given you the Sabbath, therefore he is giving you bread for 2 days on the 6th day. Let each one stay in his place. Do not let anyone go out of his place on the 7th day. So the people rested on the 7th day. And the house of Israel called its name manna. And it was like white coriander seed. And the taste of it was like thin cakes made with honey. And Moshe said, This is the word which Yahweh has commanded. Fill an omer with it, and keep for your generations, so that they see the bread which I fed you in the wilderness, when I brought you out of the land of Mitzrayim. And Moshe said to Aaron, Take a pot and put an omer of manna in it, and set it down before Yahweh, to keep for your generations. As Yahweh commanded Moshe, so did Aaron set it down before the witness to keep. And the children of Israel ate manna 40 years until they came to an inhabited land. They ate manna until they came to the border of the land of Canaan. And an omar is 1/10 of an ephah. Thanks for that. That cleared it right up. I'm going to go ahead and read 17 just because it's short in here. So, yeah. 17. And all the congregation of the children of Israel set out on their journey from the wilderness of Sin according to the mouth of Yahweh, and camped in Rephidim. And there was no water for the people to drink. Therefore the people strove with Moshe and said, Give us water to drink. And Moshe said to them, Why do you strive with me? Why do you try Yahweh? And the people thirsted there for water. And the people grumbled against Moshe and said, Why did you bring us out of Mitzrayim to kill us and our children and our livestock with thirst? I mean, seriously. Again? 40 years later? Then Moshe cried out to Yahweh, saying, What am I to do with this people? Yet a little, and they shall stone me. I mean, yeah, what am I to do with these people? And Yahweh said to Moshe, Pass over before the people, and take with you some of the elders of Israel, and take in your hand your rod with which you struck the river, and go. See, I am sending before you there on the rock in Horeb, and you shall strike the rock, and water shall come out of it, and the people shall drink. And Moshe did so before the eyes of the elders of Israel, and he called the name of the place Masha and Meribah, because of the strife of the children of Israel, and because they tried Yahweh, saying, Is Yahweh in our midst or not? And Amalek came and fought with Israel in Rephidim. And Moshe said to Joshua, I think, Yehoshua, Choose for us men and go out, fight with Amalek tomorrow. I am stationing myself on top of the hill with the rod of Elohim in my hand. And Yahshua did as Moshe said to him, to fight with Amalek. And Moshe, Aaron, and Hur went up on the top of the hill. And it came to be, when Moshe held up his hand, that Israel prevailed, and when he let down his hand, Amalek prevailed. But Moshe's hands were heavy, so he took a stone and put it under him, and he sat on it. And Aaron and Hur supported his hands, one on one side and on the other, and one on the other side. And his hands were steady until going down of the sun. And Joshua defeated Amalek and his people with the edge of the sword. And Yahweh said to Moshe, Write this for a remembrance in the book, and recite it in the hearing of Joshua, that I shall completely blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under the heavens. And Moshe built a slaughter place, and called its name Yahweh Nissi. For he said, Because a hand is on the throne of Yahweh is to fight against Amalek from generation to generation. Tell me again how the Father and the Son are pacifists. I mean, if you are in the belief that there is only one, and the same being is the Father and the Son, how can you even think to make that argument? If you believe that there are three different beings, the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, then just look at the works of Yeshua, or Yahshua, as it's sometimes pronounced. Just talk about how he braided a bullwhip and went and started whipping people in the church. Just saying. The planet has always been fighting, battle, and war since almost the very beginning. It's in the very first book in this thing. I mean, there's fighting and war. It will always be that way until we are here no longer, until Yeshua, the Messiah, returns and wipes out all of his enemies. Then we will have peace. Anyway, this has been James. Shalom, everybody. Thank you for watching. Hope you learned something. I did.